Hey y'all, welcome back. I just felt like getting on today to tell a little bit about my testimony. I'm going to try and start uploading little bits. I do have fuller portions of my testimony on my YouTube channel if you want to watch that more in depth. They're about 45 minutes to an hour long, I think, and I only have part 1 and part 2, and I need to do like 3 and 4 because, excuse me, my testimony is very powerful, and I think it'll be encouraging to so many people who have just been through hell in this life. Truly, like where you just feel like, oh my gosh, why does everything keep attacking me? And that used to be my mentality. And honestly, until just recently, God really delivered me from that to really look at it as where Paul talks about consider it all joy that you go through trials, because in those trials, it brings us closer to the Lord. It brings us deeper into a part of our inner being, like knowing that we can get through anything, and I think sometimes we have to get challenged. We have to go through these things in order for God almost to remind us or let us know that like there's this power inside of us and that we are destined for more than just living this life, doing the mundane or ordinary things in this life, that there is a mighty call on every person's life. And I truly believe that. So yeah, specifically, I feel led to share a time in my life. I had been serving the Lord for almost 4 years at this time, like 3.5 years. And there's so much leading up to this, but I just want to share specifically on this like 2-week period, because I feel like there's so many believers right now that are getting hit with one thing after the next. And, it talks in the word about how the enemy comes in like a lion. And he's not the lion. We have to remind ourselves that he is not the lion. We serve King Jesus, who is the Lion of tribe of Judah. And the enemy comes in to try and mimic all the things that Jesus is, that God is, right? He comes in as the angel of light a lot of times to deceive us, to lure us, but then also he comes in like a roaring lion with all of these thoughts, all of these horrible things, spirits that will come and attack your mind, attack your body. And we have to be very aware when these attacks happen. So I'm going to talk about this time in the season. I was technically homeless for about 2 weeks. I was couch surfing on a friend's couch and in my car and working at Starbucks, making $7.75 an hour. And I am, 26 at this time? So it was completely humbling, y'all. But God was doing something miraculous in the midst of it. So during this time, I don't know where my life is going to be. I'm having to battle with so much fear and uncertainty. And during this time, I can't remember if it was a phone call or a letter, but anyways, I found out that I was going to be interrogated by the FBI. And they set a date and a time where I had to come and meet them at this place. And mind you, I'm making $7.75 an hour. I barely had any money. I had to call a lawyer. I had to get, some advice to say, oh my gosh, do I need a lawyer to come with me to do this? And all the fear that you can imagine. And this was something that happened when I was 21, from something that happened when I was 21 years old. A con artist got me and my entire family involved with real estate deals. I did not know to the extent of what I was doing. It was definitely too good to be true, but I had no idea what they were doing, which was committing fraud with my name and my social security number and buying a ton of properties, basically unbeknownst to me. I thought I was going to get 2 properties. They ended up getting me like 8 properties. So that'll be for another time. I'll go more into that. But so I'm just sharing the backstory of how this all came about. So fast forward, I'm now 26 years old and I'm going to get interrogated by the FBI in this same week period, okay? Basically become homeless, don't know what's going to go on in my life, get hit with a huge fear tactic from the federal government, the FBI, wanting to interrogate me. And then, guess what? I had like this spot that I went into for dermatology, and it actually wasn't even a spot. It was like an ingrown hair. And then I went in and they were like, hey, have you ever been scanned? We need to scan your body for moles and freckles since you have a lot. And I was like, no, I've never done that. I was like, sure, let's get it done. So I did that, and the results came back within 4 days that I had severe atypia melanoma, and they needed to get it out like ASAP. So in this like 2-week period, I am getting hit with some of the biggest fears of my life. And I just want to encourage each and every one of you, if you are getting hit with so many trials and tribulations and the fear, the overwhelming fear is coming in, I want to teach you now, train you to rebuke that spirit of fear. Because during this time, God showed me, he was like, Kristen, I'm going to show you how mighty I am. I'm going to show you how powerful I am and how much I love you and how much I'm for you. And he literally came in and radically gave me a peace that surpassed all understanding. I mean, yes, I was crying, these things, but I just had this peace. I just had this knowing, like, okay, God, you're going to get me through this. I know I'm going to get through this. And the FBI was a terrible situation. I was interrogated for 7 hours. There was over 50 forged signatures or documents forged of my signature, not my handwriting. There were so many things that were so, I don't even know how to explain it, but it was just terrible. It was terrible. It was good cop, bad cop. One guy has me in a room, telling me all these good things and, oh, you're just a little fish and we're probably not going to end up prosecuting you and all this stuff. And then this other person is like nailing me. And I mean, it was absolute brainwash, crazy control, manipulation, chaotic, terrible. But God really brought me through that. And that'll be another part of my testimony later. But God gave me such a peace to stand in this. And also, I just want to share the melanoma. So I went back in, and they had to cut out all these parts of my body. I've got scars to prove it, 3 of them, and one that's really huge. And they had to cut out a huge area around where the melanoma had spread. So I had a 2-inch diameter by 2 inches deep cut out of my thigh. And they didn't put me under. This is just crazy, okay, guys? I just share this because it was such high levels of stress, and God gave me such peace. And too, I want to encourage you. So all the fear that was trying to come in, after I left that day, they cut me all up, they sewed me up, they sent me back home, and they told me to come back they told me to come back in a month to make sure, that they got everything. So I did. I came back in a month. And they were so fearful for me. They put this spirit of fear over me. They wanted me to come back in every 2 months because melanoma is one of the biggest killers. Once it gets into your lymphatic system, done, bam. So all this fear is coming over me. But you know what I did? I went home that day, I'll never forget. And I, mind you, wasn't home yet, but whatever, in the home that I was at. And I just cried out to God. And he was like, Kristen, trust me. You do not need to go back. I'm going to give you the measure of faith that I have, that you've got to believe that I am healing you, and you are not going to have this spread into your body. You're not going to live in fear. And so guess what I did? I never went back. Y'all, this was in 2010. I think 2010. And I haven't been back, and it's because I speak the word, I trust my Jesus, I know what he told me. And again, it's about going off of the instruction. I'm not telling you if you get diagnosed with something to just say, okay, I'm never going back. But you got to get into this place with the Lord. It's my main objective here for you to take away. Get into a place with the Lord where you can really seek him, fast and pray, and he will show up. I'm telling you, King Jesus, it talks about if you seek, you will find. It says that, I'm trying to think of the exact verse now, just doing this totally random and just popped on here sporadically, so I don't have anything prepped, but Jeremiah, I think Jeremiah 21 or 29:11, then 29:12, I think it talks about, for those of you who seek, you will find the answers. And this is so true. We have to do this. Christians, wake up, rise up. We have got to really learn who we are, learn who God is, and know that he is for us. Know that he is for you. He sees your situation. He knows exactly where you're at. Find scriptures that you can speak over yourself, that you can declare over your situation and declare God's goodness no matter what, even if you have to go through the treatments, if you have to go through the trial, which I did have to later on, and there'll be another video for that, about that testimony and how God showed up mightily. For my court situation, all of that. But anyways, I hope this encourages you. I just really know that so many people are suffering right now and they're going through so many trials, but I really want to encourage you. Get in your word. Stand on who God is. Believe that he loves you. He is for you. He will not forsake you. He is going to bring you through this. And I'm telling you, every season of my life, it has been an intense trials. Like, these are just little things that, I mean, they're big things, but this is like a normal thing that started happening to me. They were big things in my life every year after I said yes to Jesus. But you know what it's done is it has made my roots grow so deep that when the storms come, I'm planted. I know who my God is. I know Jesus inside of me. He's going to get me through every situation that the enemy tries to throw at me. So I just pray that this blesses you. I hope it encourages you and reminds you who you are and whose you are in Christ. And yeah, have a blessed day. Have a blessed week. And you'll hear more next Tuesday for Testimony Tuesday. All right. Bye, guys.